and welcome to my channel. And if this is your first time joining me, welcome, and please do hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. So before I begin, I want to put a disclaimer that this week's video does involve the murder of 4 children. So if you find that type of topic sensitive, please do check out my 2 previous videos. They don't involve any type of murder. This is Zinhle Maditla. She was born in 1994 and her family call her as Leshmi, but she is well known to the media as Zinhle Maditla. In late 2009, when Zinhle was 15 years old, she fell pregnant with the first child, a baby girl named Zinhle Maditla. Zinhle's father's name was never released, so we don't know who her father is. But when she was 2 months pregnant with Zinhle, she did meet a man named William Shongwe. Now, William was 5 years older than her, and he was basically an adult because he was 20 and she was 15. Now, I'm not a psychologist, I didn't study psychology, but you can tell that this relationship wasn't right from the get-go because she was still a child. She was 15 and she was 2 months pregnant. She was very vulnerable, and she met this older man who was 20 years old. So despite that, they do get into a relationship, and in 2010 she does give birth to Zinhle. And 2 years later, in 2012, she gives birth to the couple's first child, a baby boy named Blessing Maditla, and she was 18 at the time she gave birth to Blessing. Like I mentioned before, the relationship between Zinhle and William was very not healthy. It was a very toxic relationship. So they would date and then break up. They were very on and off. So after Blessing was born, she did meet another man and she got pregnant, and in 2014 she gave birth to her 3rd child, a baby girl named Zinhle Maditla, and she was 20 years at the time. So in early 2017, William and Zinhle get back together, they make up, and she falls pregnant again, and she's 22 around this age, and then she gives birth to a baby boy named Zinhle Maditla. After the birth of baby Ethan, they are now a family of 6, and they live in a township called Clarinets in Emalahleni in Mpumalanga. They rent a back room, so all 6 of them live in this tiny room, so that should tell you the financial situation of the couple. In December 2018, the couple breaks up again and William moves back to his parents' house, and now Zinhle is left alone with 4 children that she must raise on her own. Now, Zinhle didn't have a stable job. She did have I guess you can call it a job. She was a distributor for a popular bedding company, so she would get commission if she sells like duvets and pillows. She would get commission from that. Now, people, when they do these distribution jobs, they don't do it like as a main job. It's usually as a side hustle, but that's what she was doing for her job, and she would get around 2,000 rands a month, and that's if she make any sales. So sometimes she didn't get the 2,000, she'd make far less. But a stable income for her was the grant money she got from SASSA. She would get 400 rand for each child, so in total she would get around 1,600 rand from SASSA for the kids. So let's say a month she would make around 3,600 rand, and it's really not a lot of money, and especially to take care of 4 kids. So you can see her financial situation was very hard. So despite her financial situation, Zinhle was always happy. She never seemed depressed. People say she never talked about her problems. She seemed okay. It's the 27th of December 2018. The Maditla family has just celebrated Christmas, and Zinhle seemed fine. The family didn't see anything wrong with her. She was just her usual normal happy self, but she wasn't happy because that Christmas the kids didn't have any Christmas clothes and there was no food in the house. So on that day she decided to go to William's house to go confront him on why he didn't buy them food that month and why he didn't buy the children Christmas clothes. She then takes a taxi to go to William's parents' house to go confront William on why he didn't buy the children Christmas clothes that year and why he didn't buy them food because they didn't have food for that month. And when she gets to William's parents' house, she finds William, but William is with another woman, and she's very devastated by this. And a fight ensues between William and Zinhle, and William makes things worse by insulting Zinhle in front of his new girlfriend. So Zinhle is very heartbroken by this. So Zinhle liked making threats. Her favorite thing to say was to William was "Ngekuphinda usibone," but William was used to her making this threat. He didn't take her seriously. But this time she actually meant it. She had finally reached her breaking point. Zinhle leaves William's parents' house and she takes a taxi to town, and she's very angry at this time. She's very heartbroken. She's frustrated. Everything is just, her whole world just came crashing down. So she's angry. And then she sees a lady selling red poison. She's waiting for a taxi to take her to a house in Clarinet. And she sees this lady selling red poison. And then that's where she got the idea to punish William by killing the kids. She knew that if she killed the kids, it would extremely hurt him. Zinhle takes another taxi back home, and when she gets home, she waits a while before giving the kids the red poison. But after a while, she decides to make the kids dinner. So she makes bread and acha, but she actually makes the acha with red poison, and she fed it to the 3 older kids. And for baby Ethan, what she did is, it's brutal. So what she did for baby Ethan, she took the red poison and put it around her breast so that when baby Ethan was breastfeeding, he would suck the milk and also suck the poison. Like, if you think about it, it's very heartless because she's holding the baby when he's breastfeeding. She's watching him breastfeed, but she knows that he's also sucking the poison. So she's literally watching the baby die. So she gives the kids the sandwiches and they eat the sandwich, and baby Ethan breastfeeds. The poison doesn't work immediately, so the kids go and play outside. And after a while, 4-year-old Shaniqua's friends come and tell Zinhle that Shaniqua had fallen down. So she goes and fetches Shaniqua and she brings her bags into the house and she starts comforting her because she knows what's happening. And a while later, 6-year-old Blessing comes into the house and he's complaining of a headache, and she tells him to lie down with Shaniqua. And then she goes outside and finds Minenhle. Minenhle, the poison hasn't started working for her, so she tells Minenhle that she's going to the shop to go buy Panado for Blessing and she'll be right back. Says that she found the shops closed and that's why she came back without buying the Panado. And then when she came back, she found the children asleep. She didn't even check if they were breathing, but she knew that the effects of the poison were probably taking place. Now, it's not clear when Zinhle ingested the poison. She also took the red poison, so she then went outside to wait for the poison to work on her. I think she was sitting outside maybe because she wanted to look at the stars and maybe go in peace, but the poison wasn't working on her. So she went back inside to check on the kids, and when she got back inside, she noticed that the kids weren't breathing. She didn't do anything, and she went back to sit outside again. And when she was sitting outside, one of her neighbors, a lady named Sweetness, saw her and asked her where the kids were, and she told them that she had taken the kids to William and the kids were staying the weekend at William's house. So Sweetness suggested to Zinhle that they go to a tavern and they drink, and then Zinhle told Sweetness to go and she would follow her later. So Zinhle, seeing that the poison isn't working on her, she decides to go on a drinking spree. She joins Sweetness and their other friends at the tavern, and then they drink, and they go from tavern to tavern drinking the whole night. And then she only comes back home the next day on the 28th of December. So when she gets back home on the 28th of December, that's when her guilty conscience starts. That's when she starts realizing the magnitude of what she had done. So she arrives back home and she takes her wet cloth and she starts to clean the kids' faces because they had foam around their mouth, and this time the kids have passed away, sadly. And she notices that the kids are cold, so she wraps a blanket around them, and she says that she couldn't face what she had done. So she drank the whole day. She says she spent the whole day on the 28th of December watching the kids, hoping that they would wake up. But obviously they didn't wake up, they had passed away. On the 29th of December, it's been 2 days since the kids passed away. She goes to William's house and she tells him that she's going to visit her father in Joburg, and she had left the kids locked in the room, so she gave the key to William. I think her idea is that she wanted William to go check on the kids, and then when he opened the door he would find the kids' bodies and he would be traumatized. But William didn't go check on the kids. He knew that the kids were left alone in a locked room, but he didn't go check on them. He left them there. On the 29th of December, Zinhle goes on another drinking spree. She drinks with a friend and she still has red poison. So her plan is the next day, on the 30th of December, she's gonna wake up, drink the poison, and then go to the police station to confess to what she has done. So the next day, on the 30th of December, she does ingest the poison and she's on her way to go to the police station to go confess to the crime. She receives a call from her mom and Sweetness, and they're telling her that her house there's a lot of flies. They're asking her what's happening because there's this foul smell coming from the house, and they're asking her, please come and explain, please come and open the door because the door was locked, we want to find out what's happening. And Zinhle just ignores them. So meanwhile, at Zinhle's house, the family knocks down the door, and when they knock down the door, they sadly find the bodies of 8-year-old Minenhle, 6-year-old Blessing, 4-year-old Shiniqua, and 11-month-old Zinhle Maditla. The police are called and they come and investigate the scene, and initially they didn't know the cause of death because there were no visible wounds around the kids' bodies, but the kids had their bodies were bloated, and they say that their bodies were greenish, blackish, and brownish in color, and their tongues were black. So when they're busy processing the scene, they get a phone call that a lady has just come into the police station and she just confessed to the murders, and this lady is the kid's mother. So meanwhile, Zinhle is in the police station, and remember, she consumed the red poison, so her intention was to confess and then die. But when the police are processing her, they noticed that she was drowsy and she kept falling over, so they took her to the hospital and they were able to pump out the poison from her body. The story breaks on the 30th of December 2018 that the 4 bodies of an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old and 11-month-old were found, and the person who committed the murders was the mother. Everyone was shocked because mothers are supposed to protect their babies, and then when somebody does the unthinkable and they kill their own kids, it's quite shocking. So everyone was shocked by this news, and everyone just assumed that surely she had some mental problem. She probably had some underlying mental disease. She probably had bipolar or something that wasn't diagnosed. But the truth is, she killed her kids because she wanted revenge. The kids were later laid to rest on the 8th of January 2019, and it was quite a huge affair because there were lots of politicians and they were encouraging people, if they're depressed, to go seek out help, and Zinhle didn't attend the funeral. On the 20th of September 2019, Zinhle Maditla was sentenced to 4 life terms in prison, so she will never come out of prison. She's going to spend the rest of her life in prison. So my opinions on this case, it's pretty clear. She killed her kids because she wanted revenge on William, and she had numerous opportunities to change her mind. She could have changed her mind after she bought the poison in her taxi ride back home, because it's like a 10-minute taxi ride. She could have changed her mind and decided, no, what I'm doing is wrong. When she got home, she waited a while before serving the poison to the kids, so she could have still changed her mind then, but she decided to go ahead with her plan and she served the children the poison, and she watched her kids eat those sandwiches knowing very well that they had poison in it, and she watched her baby sucking the poison from her breast. So what she did was pretty heartless. So after the kids had ingested the poison, she could have taken them to hospital, but she chose not to. She let them go play outside, and when they came back complaining of headaches, she knew what was happening. She still had time to save the kids, but she didn't. But she is spending the rest of her life in prison, and it was a very good sentence, and maybe she can be reformed and maybe she is remorseful, but at the end of the day she did take 4 lives. So that's the end of this week's case. If you did enjoy this video, please do subscribe and like the video, and please do leave your comments and tell me what you think about this case. Thank you so much.